Episode 4, Trusting Yourself Again. Rebuilding inner safety after disappointment. If you haven't listened to episode 3 or season 2 or even season 1, I suggest you listen to this and head back over there. But hey, my beautiful butterflies, it has not been long because I have been consistent. Boom. But without further ado, in this episode, we're diving deep into something that doesn't get spoken about enough. Rebuilding inner safety and learning how to trust yourself again after disappointment, betrayal, or just seasons of self-doubt, because it happens. It happens. Maybe life has been moving fast, or maybe you have been in a place of stillness, but not by choice, but by circumstance. Either way, you've probably had moments where you questioned everything. I know last year before, maybe year before that, yesterday, last month, last week, I know that I have. I've questioned everything. And I mentioned it, even coming back to this podcast after the break wasn't just about consistency. It was about choosing to show up even when it felt hard, even when I didn't feel good, even when I didn't look good, even while training for a marathon. Yes, London Marathon is next week. Whew. I started training this year. I don't know where the time has gone, but I'm literally on the doorstep. With all that, doing the podcast, doing marathon, working, mother, everything else, I've had days where physical and emotional weight was a lot. But I had to remind myself, and I still remind myself, and it's the thing that's going to get me through the marathon. I can do hard things. I can do things that are difficult. I can do things that are challenging. Let's be real. When trust has been broken, especially with yourself, rebuilding isn't instant. It's layered. And most of the time, we don't even notice how we're carrying distrust like invisible armor. You may find yourself second guessing every decision, shrinking back from opportunities, or numbing out because deep down, you don't feel safe with your own choices anymore. That's why this episode matters. I will talk about what it means to rebuild that safety, how it starts with small things, saying what you mean, listening to your intuition, being honest about what you need, not what you should need, but what you truly do. Rebuilding inner safety is about reminding yourself that you are not the same person who made past decisions. And I will say that again. You are not the same person you made and who made past decisions. You're just not the same person who made past decisions. You've grown. You're still grown. And it's safe to start again. It's always safe to start again. When trust gets broken, even with ourselves, there's been moments when I've second guessed everything. Relationships I've stayed too long in, opportunities I didn't take, things I've said that I shouldn't have, decisions that didn't go the way I hoped. Sometimes we think betrayal only comes from others. But what about when we feel like we've betrayed ourselves? That internal, I should have had known better. Shame. That moment when you questioned your own voice, your gut, your judgment, your whole life being. And when trust breaks, it's not just about other people. It's about you and whether you feel safe enough to listen to your own voice again. What is inner safety? Inner safety is the ability to feel secure, grounded, and emotionally safe within yourself. It's that calm voice that says, I've got me, even if things fall apart. It's being honest with your needs. It's trusting your boundaries. It's saying no without guilt and yes without fear. How to start trusting yourself again? Let's talk about how we start rebuilding that trust. 1. Acknowledge the break. Name what hurt you. Name what hurts. Call it out. Was it the heartbreak, the failure, the burnout? Healing starts with honesty and being honest with yourself. 2. Give yourself permission to feel it's okay to grieve a version of you that didn't know better at that time. Grace first, growth after. 3. Start with small promises. One of my faves. Wake up and journal for 5 minutes. Read scripture. Reflect. Go for a 10-minute walk, a run. But keep a commitment to yourself, no matter how small it is. 4. Reframe the inner critic. I've said this before, but it's worth repeating. Affirmations aren't fluff. They are your counter narrative. If your mind is saying you can't trust yourself, your affirmation needs to say, I am learning to trust myself again. Build boundaries that support healing, your healing. Trust grows where there is safety, so protect your peace. Limit access to voices that trigger self-doubt. 6. Invite God into the process. If faith is your anchor like it is mine, let it steady you here. Hand it over. Tell him all and hand it over. And ask him to show you, guide you, lead you in the direction that you should go. A go-to scripture in seasons when you're feeling like this is, the Lord is my rock, my fortress, my deliverer. My God is my rock, in whom I take refuge. Psalms 18, verse 2. Sometimes when you feel like you can't trust yourself, trust God in you. It's what has got me through and still gets me through daily. And it's definitely going to get me through the marathon next week, I tell you that. If you're like me, journal and add a prompt. I'll put it in the bottom here so you can see it. What does safety look like for me right now? And how can I begin to create it within myself again? I've been there, overwhelmed by the noise, uncertainty about what's next, and carrying silent fear. But here's what I know. The most healing thing we can do is come back home to ourselves. Create space to rest, to feel, to breathe, whether it's journaling, walking, running, talking to someone we trust, or simply having a moment of stillness with God. Choose what safety looks like for you. There's another scripture I want to leave you with. Psalms 46:1. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. You don't have to carry it all alone, and you are never too far gone to begin again. You are never too far gone to begin again. If you're struggling with shame or self-blame, go check out and start with my daily affirmation episodes. Sometimes we need a daily reminder to rewrite the narrative in our minds. Here are my closing thoughts. Rebuilding trust isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about choosing to believe in yourself again, even if your voice starts as a whisper. You deserve a life where you feel grounded, confident, and safe in your own skin. And remember, you don't have to have all the answers. You just need to trust that you're worth showing up for. You don't have to have all the answers. You just need to trust that you're worth showing up for. If this resonated, please share it with someone who's learning to rebuild too. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Let's have a discussion. And if you're not following the channel, go and hit that subscribe button so you can be notified on when I'm sharing a pod again. If you need a daily boost, there's the daily affirmations. It's a perfect place to start when your self-belief feels shaky. And until next time, this is your striving path.